So we're going to go through the Exposure Ninja keyword research process. There are 9 steps. Now we've simplified it slightly just because when we do this for clients, we usually spend between 5 and 15 hours on it. This process is not going to take you 15 hours, don't worry. We've simplified it slightly to get you kind of 80% of the way there, and you can use a shortened version of this or you can go really in depth, but it's not going to take you anything like 15 hours. Okay, let's do this. Step number 1 is to do what we like to call in the industry a brain dump. So the best keyword research tool is actually your brain and your customers' mouths. We will always start keyword research with a good think through what are the sorts of phrases that you think you want to rank for. Now there's 2 different categories of keywords that you're going to be looking for here. Firstly, product or service focused keywords, and then secondly, solution focused keywords. Say for example that I'm starting a ninja florist and we're going to sell black flowers. So I know that I'm going to be selling black roses, black lilies, black flowers. I might also want to target phrases like black flower delivery. So these are all product or service focused keywords. But I'm also going to have searches that I want to target for things like unique Mother's Day gifts or quirky Valentine's gifts. These are going to be searched by people who don't necessarily know about my solution, but they have a problem which I can fix. When we're doing keyword research for clients, we will use a spreadsheet, and this is going to be really useful as you go through the process because it allows you to track all of the different metrics that we're going to be adding in as we go through. Don't worry about the other columns yet. For now, we are mostly focused on this column A. And for now, we're just going to do a brain dump of everything that we can possibly think of that we might want to rank our website for. Okay, step 2 is to find the keywords that your website is already ranking for. Now there's 2 ways of doing this. You can either use Google Search Console or you can use an SEO tool. Let's look at both and talk about the pros and cons of each. So in Google Search Console, you're going to go to Performance, and under Search Results, you will then see all of the queries that have brought up your website in the search results. Google's going to show you a maximum of 1,000 here. You're going to be able to see the number of clicks you've had from each and the number of impressions from each as well. Now the downside of this is you only get 1,000. There are going to be way more than this, but you don't see all of them. On the plus side though, this is free and it's showing you the actual data that's coming straight from Google. Now the other way of doing this though is through an SEO tool like SEMrush. And here you can see on SEMrush, I've just stuck in a website and I've got all of the different keywords that site is ranking for. Now my personal preference is to actually do this in SEMrush because it's going to give you way more than 1,000 different search terms, and it's also going to give you a whole bunch of other metrics which we're going to come back to later. But for now, we're not too worried about the metrics. All we're going to do is we're going to make a note of any keywords that we're already ranking for, which we think are going to be high priority, which we really want to increase our visibility for. And of course, we're going to stick them in our spreadsheet. And by the way, if you like the look of SEMrush, it's a really useful SEO tool. They don't have a free trial, so you've got to pay for it. But we did manage to negotiate with them to get a free trial for anybody who wants to try it out. You can do this keyword research process, you can do some competitor analysis or whatever. If you cancel at any point during the first 30 days, you don't have to pay anything anyway. So that's step 2. Step 1 is we just do a brain dump of everything that we can think of. We talk to our sales team, we find out what different customers search for, what they think they might search for. Step 2 is we then go and have a look at the phrases that our website is already ranking for. Step 3 is we're going to do exactly this process again, but this time for our competitors. So same thing, you'll put your competitors' websites in, you will see which phrases that they are ranking for, and you can add any juicy phrases from that list into your keyword research spreadsheet. Now, of course, if you find any keywords that aren't really relevant to your business or that are too broad to be useful, for example, Exposure Ninja is ranking for the word ninja, we would not add this to our target keyword list because there's likely to be very little value there for us. So as you're going through, if you see anything that's just not really relevant for your business or it's not going to drive you good quality traffic, of course, don't add that. If you've enjoyed this video so far, there's still time. Click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified when we post new ones. Usually release between 1 and 3 new videos every single week here at Exposure Ninja, all about digital marketing, all focused on helping you generate more sales through your website. By the way, if you want all our other SEO processes, you can actually find them all in this book, How to Get to the Top of Google. This is one of the best-selling SEO books in history. We break down everything that we know about SEO and content marketing in this book. And I'm not selling it to you because you can actually get it free. Obviously, you can buy it on Amazon and stuff. If you click the link in the video description, you can get a copy of this book completely free of charge, apparently. So yeah, that sounds really good. So now that we've got all our keywords from our brain dump, from our existing rankings and our competitors' rankings, we need to start fleshing these out and adding some data. So you'll see that we've got these 3 columns in our spreadsheet. Let's talk about what each of them is. And by the way, to get this data, you are going to need to use a tool like SEMrush. So firstly, let's talk about the volume. The volume is the number of times each of these phrases is searched per month. Now, SEMrush is going to give you an estimate. It's not going to give you a completely accurate number. And this is particularly true for phrases that have a low search volume. So let's say that you've got a phrase that you really want to target, but SEMrush is telling you that the search volume is really, really low. What do you do? Well, the very first website that I ever built for my next door neighbor, I built that entire website targeting one specific keyword. And Google AdWords, as it was called at the time, told me that there was 0 search volume for that phrase. I knew that this was wrong because it is exactly what somebody would search for to find his business. And it completely changed his life. That's ranking for a phrase with 0 search volume. Now, if you're a larger business, obviously that's not a good strategy for you. If SEMrush says there's 0 volume or there's 10 searches a month, it doesn't mean that there's 0 or 10, but it means that there's not millions. So you want to make sure you've got a good balance of high search volume phrases, but don't be put off by targeting lower search volume phrases. These tools are incredibly inaccurate at the lower volume end. So if you know that it's a good phrase, if you know it's the sort of thing that your customers are going to be searching for, you get it in that spreadsheet. You do you. The next metric that we're going to add is CPC. This is cost per click. This is a Google Ads metric. Why are we adding it for SEO? The reason is that cost per click is a good indication of the commercial intent of a keyword. Let's say, for example, that Exposure Ninja wants to rank for the word ninja. Well, ninja has a relatively low cost per click because although it's a very popular search term with loads of people searching for it, it's unlikely to turn into money for most businesses, really. It's so broad and there are so many different types of people searching for a word like that it's very difficult to get commercial result from. Compare this to a phrase like SEO company, which is showing here has a cost per click of $14. Despite having lower search volume, this is because this is a much more commercial phrase. People searching for this are going to have an average order value that is much higher than somebody searching for the word ninja, and it's much more desirable for businesses that are offering this service. So as you're going through adding your cost per click in for each of these different keywords, think about the competition level and the relevance to your business. If you find a high volume keyword with a high cost per click, that indicates it's a really profitable phrase to rank for in your space. The final metric that we're going to be adding in our spreadsheet is keyword difficulty. In SEMrush, this is not diff, that's something else entirely. You are looking for KD percentage. This is the percentage difficulty from 1 to 100 that they're estimating it's going to be to rank for this term. If your site already has good visibility, you've got good authority, you've got a good link profile, then you're generally going to be happy to target higher difficulty phrases. Whereas if your site is much newer, then it's going to be much harder for you to rank for these higher difficulty phrases. At step 5, it's time to use your judgment. And here's the thing, there are no right or wrong keywords to prioritize in your list. It depends on your business, it depends on what your current visibility is, and it depends on how aggressive your competitors are. So you're going to use your judgment, but you're going to choose a priority list of keywords based on that massive list that you've already created. So this is going to be a function of the search volume, making sure that there's enough search volume there to be interesting to you, the cost per click, making sure there's enough commercial intent behind those searches, and the difficulty score. So we usually work from a priority list of 50 keywords when we're doing this for clients. If you're an e-commerce business, you might have a much longer priority list. That's going to be okay. So you're going to have some keywords for each of your different product categories. It's important to say though that just because a keyword might not make it to your priority list doesn't mean that you won't rank for it. The way that Google works is just because you're targeting one particular keyword on your page doesn't mean that you won't rank for variations and modified versions of that keyword. So we are just looking for the top level seed keywords here that we can then take into tracking and do a bit more analysis with. But you're going to rank for other related keywords to these as well. So don't panic about chopping out some others. We're just doing this as a way of saving time. Okay, in step number 6, we're going to start filtering out some of these priority keywords. So you're going to run a Google search for each of these, and you're going to have a look for a couple of things. Firstly, you're going to make sure that this keyword is actually relevant to your business. So let's go back to Ninja Flowers. Say one of the phrases that I've found there's a good search volume for, and it looks like some of my competitors might be ranking for it, would be a phrase like flowers gone black. So I'm going to run over to Google, I'm going to stick this in and have a look and see what's coming up. Now, I can very quickly see that this is not a commercial search. This isn't being searched for by people that are likely to buy what I'm selling. In fact, I'm not even going to be able to solve this problem because this is actually people that have overwatered their plants, or they've got some kind of disease or whatever. This is a gardening issue, not a buying flowers issue. So I would immediately go back to my worksheet and I would strike that off. So you're going to go through each of your search terms, checking to make sure that the term is actually bringing up search results which are relevant to your business at all. The next thing that you're going to do, and you can do this at the same time, is step number 7. You're going to categorize each of these keywords as either commercial or informational. So a commercial search is one that brings up commercial results. Let's say, for example, I'm targeting a phrase like black roses. Is this a commercial term or is this an informational term? Well, actually, there's a bit of information stuff ranking here. I've also got some commercial results here, so that's showing me that there's some commercial stuff going on here. And then I see in these other results, I can see e-commerce websites ranking. So I know that this is a commercial term. So I'm going to stick in commercial term there. Let's say I want to rank for a phrase like unusual Mother's Day gifts. This is slightly more difficult because we can see that we've got ads at the top here, so that indicates that there's some commercial intent. But actually, if we have a look down here, some of the pages that we see ranking are information pages. The top ranking page is actually a gift guide, which isn't necessarily commercial. It does have affiliate links, but it's an information guide. Others on the page, these are more commercial. These are product category pages. So I'm happy to call this a commercial search term, but if I was seeing lots of those articles and it was majority articles that are ranking, I'd want to make sure that I was categorizing this as an informational keyword. It's okay to target both informational and commercial keywords, by the way. The reason that we're doing this is because we want to be able to map them to the right pages on our website in the next step. The next step is to add associated pages for each of your target keywords. And ideally, each of your pages on your website is targeting either one keyword or one very small group of keywords. For example, I might write a blog post on my Ninja Flowers website about unusual Mother's Day gifts, and I might try and get it ranked for quirky Mother's Day gifts as well by using mentions of that keyword on the page. But I probably wouldn't try and get that ranked for unusual Mother's Day gifts for goths, for example, because those terms aren't close enough together, and that page is going to have to work very hard to rank for different topics like that. So my Ninja Flowers website is all about black flowers, so I might put my homepage in the associated page URL here. The black roses keyword, well, that's going to go to my black roses product category page. So I'm going to make sure I've got text on that page all about black roses. I'm going to make sure that internal links on my website using the black roses anchor text are pointing at this associated page. And I'm going to make sure that any external links I get on other people's websites using the black roses anchor text are pointed at my product category page. Black flower delivery might be my delivery page, or it might be a product category page which is ranked for the delivery term. Now, if you find that you've got keywords which don't really have an associated page URL, i.e. you don't have a page which is really optimized for that keyword, great, this is really good news. And that goes on your to-do list to go and create a page for that target keyword or that group of keywords. But remember, informational keywords need long-form content usually, whereas commercial keywords need a page that has some sort of commercial outcome. So either a product page, a service page if you're a service business, whereas commercial pages need content which is suitable for that topic. So whether that's a product page or a category page if you're an e-commerce business, or a service page if you're a service company. So the final step, step 9, is actually an optional one, and that's to go into SEMrush and set up a new project for your target keywords. So you can put your website in and you can tell SEMrush which keywords you want to track. This allows you to see how their progress and ranking is moving over time. You can do this manually in Search Console, but it's much more difficult to keep track of and the interface isn't as easy to use. Whereas in SEMrush, you can see exactly where each keyword is ranking on a specific date, and you can measure that progress over time. Now, if you're watching this thinking, oh wow, there's a lot to do here, maybe I should get some ninjas to help me with my digital marketing, then you can request a free website and marketing review from the team here at Exposure Ninja. All you need to do is go to exposureninja.com, click the big button to request your free website and marketing review. We'll ask you a few bits of info about your business and your goals. We will then put together a plan showing you how you can increase the leads and sales that your website is generating for you completely free of charge. This plan usually arrives in your inbox as a video within 2 to 3 working days. So go to exposureninja.com, click the big button to request your free website and marketing review today. Quick question for you. Let us know in the comments. What's the one keyword that you could rank for if you could rank for anything on earth? Competition is no object. What's the one phrase that you would rank for? I'd love to know. Prize for the best one. Did you know we have a podcast? Yeah, we have a podcast. If you want to listen to me talking about things like keyword research and trying to explain the stuff on the screen in audio form, it's quite entertaining. So you can just search for Exposure Ninja Podcast on any podcast platform, and you will hear audio descriptions of spreadsheets. We try and make it lighthearted, and the content is a bit different from the videos, so if you want an alternative take on stuff, then definitely check out the podcast. On all major podcast platforms, and the minor ones, it turns out. I'll leave you to categorize those. And yes, we're still on Spotify with Joe Rogan.